Gus Cooper. My occupation is a heavy equipment operator, and I've been in the career for about, I think, going on 4 years. So.
Perfect. And how did you first become interested in this career?
Well, I was working as an electrician for a bit, and got let go because I was shocked on the job. So I was looking around and didn't want to get up and down ladders anymore. I wanted to do something I actually was interested in. I was always kind of interested in running heavy equipment as a kid, and then into my early 20s before I came out here. I worked as a surveyor, hand in hand with heavy equipment. So that's how I kind of got interested into it. And then I saw a school that was offering a 6-week course to become a heavy equipment operator. And so I went for it, and that's where it all started. The best personality for construction is more of a straightforward. They don't beat around the bush, and for lack of better words, they're not easily offended. In the construction realm, you got all sorts of personalities, different walks of life, but most of the time you're a guy that's a straight shooter and shows up on time every day and is reliable and loyal and pretty much trustworthy, you'll go far. In construction, it depends on what you want to do, especially on the excavation side. So starting salary for a laborer, someone that helps out the operator getting in and out of trenches, whether it be laying gas pipe or electrical lines or sewer pipe and drain pipe and water pipe. A laborer will usually start off like around 14 an hour. An operator with no experience, starting off in the smaller equipment like skid steers and mini excavators, you're looking at probably about $16 to $18 an hour starting off, depending on if you have a year experience or no experience. For an experienced operator, starting salary, if you're in a small company, is usually 20. But if you're more union and you're in the bigger outfits like Dwyer Excavation, Bradley Excavation, Kempton, or even Frazee, you're looking at 25 or more starting off. And that's if you have 5 to 6 years of experience starting off. And then the sky's the limit from there. If you have 10 years of experience, you're usually looking at a foreman position because you've done the legwork coming up. And then it just depends on where you go. You can go union to where it's more commercial, usually. Or if you want to go residential, it's usually, family-owned businesses like Cornella or Chittix. And those companies you usually find smaller pay rates just because they don't have the size to really get you up into prices. Start off with, I usually put in probably about 50 to 60 hours a week. The work environment's very rough because you're out in the elements. So if it's winter time, if the snow is not too bad, you're going to work in the snow. If it's just a cold, windy day, You're just still going to be out there getting beat up by the wind and just the being out in the cold. During the summertime, it's actually pretty nice, but at the same time, you have to deal with the heat. So you have to make sure you're drinking plenty of fluids. So it's a rough work environment. The type of people I work with are just your regular blue collar guys, you know. They're going to work just as hard as you do. So if you're out in the elements, they're out there with you, and you just kind of push through to get the job done. In most construction companies, whether it be what I do with dirt or to the framer, it's kind of it's more production based. Do whatever you have to do at all costs to get the job done. So kind of if you get hurt while working, well, you kind of push through and you keep on going. A typical day in my job, start off at 6:30 in the morning, get the machine, turn the machine on, get it running, let it warm up. Probably won't start moving the machine around until probably about 7 in the morning. And then when I get in the machine and actually start getting it going around 7, I kind of warm up the hydraulics, make sure the hydraulics are pumping and I'm not going to blow any hydraulic lines. And then from there, get out, walk the job, take a look at everything, see what are going to be problems and what aren't going to be problems, and then try to go the easiest route. And then start digging my trench, usually probably around 24 feet in the ground. And then try to make it safe for both me and my laborer to get in the trench and lay in the sewer pipe and the drain pipe and then water pipe, and then sit there and wait for an inspection. Once I get the green light on the inspection, go ahead and start backfilling it. So then I cover up everything so the guys coming behind me to do the actual backfill on the whole house won't break anything that I have installed. Kind of have to have an eye when you're running heavy equipment, whether it be skid steers or backhoes or a front end loader or even an excavator. You kind of have to have an eye for how the dirt moves, in a sense. If you're running a skid steer, which is a bobcat, which everyone knows as bobcats, you're doing rough grades, which you're roughly getting the dirt on the property to what it should be for the final grade. And then you're also grading out basements. So you're trying to make everything kind of to where water will flow on a property or a plot of land. With heavy equipment, you can run just about any piece of equipment out there, from the smallest, which is a skid steer or bobcat or a mini excavator, and then you step up to the backhoe, front end loaders, scrapers. On a scraper, you'll see on big jobs, big commercial jobs where they're getting getting the ground ready for a developer to come in and either put a big commercial building in or a neighborhood. One of the benefits is that it's honest work. You know that when you show up at 6:30 in the morning and you get off at 5:30, sometimes 6 o'clock at night, you know you get do you have the feeling that you put in a good, honest day's worth of work? Some of the challenges, one of the challenges I would say is it's rough on the body. It's not the nicest on the body. Another perk, though, is you're always outside. For me, as an operator of heavy equipment, the view from what I like to call my office is always changing. Even though it's the same repetition every day, each job has its own challenges. You can be digging in nice, hard dirt and clay, or sometimes you can be digging in clay, sand. So there's just a different challenges, the change of dirt. But it's a nice perk to be able to always know that you're going to be outside, and you get to see sometimes beautiful views of Colorado. Been many a morning where I've been on a job site and watched the sun come up and see Pikes Peak lit up pretty well. Another challenge of working construction is just promotion rate. Sometimes in construction, promotions can be a little bit slower than, per se, a job in an office, because we're more production based, and also experience based, along with loyalty. So most of the time, if you stay loyal to a company and you work with them for, let's say, 7 to 8 years, that guy that's been there 7, 8 years may have less experience than a guy who has 10 years of experience, but he hasn't been with a company for as long as the guy that's been there and learned everything he knows about construction for 7 to 8 years. The guy with the less experience, because he's been there longer, he's usually promoted to a foreman position over a guy coming into the company that has more experience. It's very compatible for family life, because you're home every night. There are some times when you work weekends, at a Saturday, but most of the guys you work with, they all have families, and they understand that, hey, you want to get home, or you want to be home this weekend. So being a family man in the construction realm, it's very compatible for someone like me. There's different routes you can go in construction where you can move around and go work in other states. But if you stay local and get on with companies that work out of Colorado Springs or just stay in Colorado, it can be very compatible. I get to run heavy equipment and pretty much playing dirt is the way I like to explain it. I'm a big kid in a sandbox. So I get to dig trenches and work around with supersized Tonka trucks. So I hope it doesn't, but the route people are trying to take it, at least for my part of it, they're trying to remove the human aspect of an operator and put in GPS systems and technology to run the machines, which you can't really take the human out of the machine, because a computer can't think on the fly, whereas a human can. So hopefully it doesn't happen, but it's the way they want to go. Make sure you really want it. Running heavy equipment is hard on the body, but at the same time very rewarding. So you just like with any job, you just want to make sure it's the one that you want for the rest of your life. You want to make sure it's the career path that you want.